My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mezco 1/12 Collective Frankenstein. And so here we have the Mezco 1/12 Collective Frankenstein posing out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories really fast. Frankenstein here does come with two different heads. He does come with the head that he has on him outside of the packaging, which is a neutral head. And then he also does get a head where he's gritting his teeth like he's in pain. Frankenstein also does come with two pairs of hands. He gets a pair of relaxed hands. And then he also does come with a pair of grasping hands. We also do get a pair of shackles for the Frankenstein monster here. He, of course, does come with his Mezco display base, and that base does come with a Mezco flight arm. Other than that, Frankenstein here doesn't come with anything else. I really don't know what more you would want to include with Frankenstein. Maybe a diorama set, which I know that Mezco does have. I just don't own it. So yeah, with that out of the way, guys, let's actually move on to Frankenstein's details. And so here we have a closer look at Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's monster, whatever you want to call him. I know some people call him Frankenstein. That's not 100% accurate because Frankenstein is the doctor that created the creature, so it's kind of confusing if you've never read the story. But we're not here to talk about the history of Frankenstein. We're here to look at the figure itself, and I have to say, it's a really, really well done figure, although there are some issues that I have with it, mainly quality control, especially with mine. The neck kind of does come off really easy, you can see. If it's not pegged in all the way, it's really, really floppy, doesn't really hold its pose. Well, all you gotta do is like push it down all the way and fixes the problem, so it's not that big of an issue for me. Taking a look at the face, it's not 100% Boris Karloff, and Boris Karloff was the original actor for the Frankenstein monster, but it looks like it came out of the movies, and that's pretty much how this is supposed to look. He is in grayscale, although it kind of does look like he has like a really, really pale flesh tone on my camera. He's actually done in grayscale, like everything on him is black and white. So I really do like that little detail. You can see he has some stitch marking right up here on his forehead. He has like this giant metal stitch right there. You can see he has a really square top. Really liking the details. He has a scar right there. Just really, I don't know, I don't want to say menacing, not scary, but it has a presence to it. That's the best way I can word it. But yeah, it looks really good. Now, there's not much to say about his wardrobe. It's just black. It's a black shirt and a black jacket, but it's done really well. I like the detail work in the jacket. You can see the collar is nicely stitched. Taking a look at his pockets right here. They're not functioning pockets. They're just little flaps that look like pockets, but they actually do work. His jacket also has a slit in the back, so that looks really nice. Moving on to his arms, I really like the detail that they put into his arms. The fingertips look like they're dying off. At least on the front, they could have probably continued that little detail on the front. But yeah, it does look like his fingers are dying off, and you can see some more stitch work where he was joined together. So I really do like that. Over on this side, we get a little bolt right here that's coming out of his forearm, connecting the hand. We have some more scarring right there. Again, does look like his fingers are decaying, so I really do like that little detail. And going on to his pants, he's just wearing black pants. Not really exciting, but it's what Frankenstein wore. Going on to his boots, they do have some nice detail. You can see some wear and tear on them. And they're actually really tall boots. They go all the way up to his calf, so I'm surprised about that. I will get more on what that does to his ankles in a little bit, but having a look at the figure, I'm still really glad I have it, because the Frankenstein monster is one of my favorite monsters, and Frankenstein was actually one of my favorite books that I've read, so it's a really nice thing having the Frankenstein monster in hand. So what we're going to do is compare him to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Frankenstein posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Frankenstein posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. And finally, here we do have Frankenstein posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to his articulation. Now, Frankenstein here does have a decent amount of articulation. He's an older Mezco figure, so he's not as engineered as a lot of modern day figures are. Let's have a look at his head. His head is connected to his neck via ball joint. So both the head and neck articulate on that ball joint. So he can look down, he can look up a little bit, he can tilt his head side to side, turns left and right. So really decent range here on Frankenstein's head, so I do like that. His arms do appear to be on just a regular, not a butterfly joint, but a hinge swivel, so they do go out to about that far. They would do a full 360, you just gotta mess around with the jacket, but you can get his arm going all the way horizontal, so I do like that. We don't have a bicep swivel, but what we do have is a single bend at the elbow, then rotation at that elbow. We don't have a swivel here at the wrist, but we do have a swivel up high in the forearm, and the reason for that is just to continue the sculpt on the forearm, and that's the same on both hands. It's not a bad thing, but it is something that they did just to have that really unique sculpt and just to give him that lankier body. We do have a ball joint in the torso, so that does lean back and forward to about there, does tilt side to side, and I believe that also swivels left and right. We do have a secondary ball joint down here in the waist, and that goes back to about that far. He doesn't crunch that, oh, never mind, he crunches very far forward. That joint was just stuck on mine, so I really do like that. And we get some really nice lean on Frankenstein going to the side, going to the other side. Of course, we have some swivel right there. Legs are on ball joints that do go out only to about right there, which is pretty decent. You don't expect Frankenstein to be throwing out karate kicks. They go out to the side only about that much. Again, we don't need Frankenstein throwing karate kicks, so I'm perfectly okay with that piece of articulation. He does swivel up high in the thigh. We do have a double bend in the knee. You just gotta be aware of where that swivel is, because sometimes you might have it swivel out to the side, and his pants do a really good job of covering that joint. And right now I have the joint right here, but if you try forcing it any other way, you could break it. So just be aware of where you have that hinge and make sure it's facing forward. And then we have swivel at the boot, and it does feel like it's an angled swivel. We don't have anything in the ankle, which is a little bit unfortunate, but Frankenstein isn't the most mobile of creatures on the planet, so I guess I can give it a pass because the figure still looks really nice. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Mezco 1/12 Collective Frankenstein pose for my final thoughts, and overall, I am really loving the way this figure came out. Yeah, he's not the most articulated figure that is in my collection, and he does have some issues, but you know what? He's Frankenstein. He's not supposed to be the most mobile or athletic figure you own. He's supposed to be this really stiff, lurching creature that just stalks his prey. So I'm perfectly okay with the way this figure came out. I love the accessories that he comes with, although I think a little more hands would have been nice. Maybe some fists, maybe just some different positions of his claw hands would have been nice. But overall, I think Mezco has done an amazing job with this figure. Now, like I said, he is an older Mezco figure, and I'm just barely getting mine. It's been a figure I've wanted to own for some time now, and when it sold out on Big Bad Toy Store, I actually had it on my list on Amazon for the longest time, and when I saw that Mezco announced Nosferatu, I decided to buy him because I had a feeling that Nosferatu was going to cause his value to go up, and that is exactly what ended up happening. Frankenstein's value has gone up exponentially. I picked mine up while he was still $80, although at the time of making this video, Frankenstein, this version is $100 from what people are asking for, and the PX exclusive went up to $150, so this guy is kind of hard to come by now, and it's kind of odd because nobody wanted him up until now, so I don't know why everybody just started jumping on the bandwagon. But if you can get your hands on a Frankenstein, or if you have your very own, let me know how you feel about the figure. Me personally, I think it's a great addition to any collection, especially if you're a Mezco fan, classic horror movie fan, or just a horror movie fan in general. You're going to love this figure. With that being said, guys, I'm King of Dragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other Mezco 1/12 collective videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments. And if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos. And as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.